Hello, Cancer. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. All right, Cancer. So I think you and Pisces both pulled Quest from Chakra Wisdom, but jealousy from Lee Vampire, it bothers me. So jealousy, envy, punishment, and changing course. Here's the thing. When it comes to jealousy, when this one shows up, it's not about you being jealous of another person. This card very specifically talks about other people being jealous of you and looking to cause you harm because they don't like the fact that you have things going on for you that are good. Now, this one is saying that you need not accept what people say about you, that you are beyond their judgment, their words are false, and you never need to live up to them, that you are a trustworthy and beautiful soul. But it is saying that it looks like somebody is trying to be cruel to you and be harmful. And unfortunately, I think the way that it's affecting you is with Quest, feeling like you are on an unnecessary quest here, feeling like your life will have meaning when you're somewhere else. But I don't blame you for feeling that way if you're surrounded by shitty people. And that's basically what it is. Now, the other thing with Quest, though, is, whatever path you are on, you need to commit, though. But at the same time, I feel like if you're dealing with this kind of nonsense, here we go, Cancer. Here's your overall for the week. Yeah. So with the Five of Wands being the overall, with jealousy being there, absolutely makes sense. The thing, though, is this is a hell of a lot better than dealing with the Five of Swords, but still, it's petty bullshit. Arguments, people butting heads, people not hearing each other. You may be dealing with competition, which is a part of this. Or we could be talking about the internal struggle. But it's really about you rising above the rest. But it's like people are trying to block you from doing that. Now in the past, the King of Pentacles. So with the King of Pentacles as the past coming through, for you, I feel like in the past, you had control over what was going on. Now, I don't really get that a lot with the King of Pentacles, but when you look at him, right, you're talking about the pinnacle of success, So this could be about things going on at work. You could be dealing with an earth sign here that you're working with, or it's just an earth sign in general coming through. Now with the King of Pentacles, right, unfortunately with the Five of Wands being there, you could be dealing with a situation where somebody is just looking at, a partnership with you, like, what can I get out of this? That's what's more important because, as much as I love the King of Pentacles, there's always that little bit about him that's like, like to have my cake and eat it too. But we'll see. Oh boy. Oh, Cancer. The Lovers in the present. I'm not going to call it yet. We'll wait and see what's going on in your environment. But the Lovers being in the present moment and looking at the Five of Wands, you may be dealing with somebody that you're not, getting along very well with right now. Now, as far as the Lovers goes, it is about the major life choices, but especially in relationships and significant ones at that. But, that's not, it's like with the Five of Wands being there, I don't think that it's anything that you can't overcome, and you may not be the only one dealing with this. You may be, with someone here, and again, looking at an earth sign that's dealing with the same thing, right? Okay. Future conditions, the Four of Pentacles. Now, what I feel like is happening is, if you're not at a place of understanding as far as, a person that you may be in a relationship with, looking at the Four of Pentacles, it's basically saying that somebody is not willing to give up their position, which is why you're looking at the Five of Wands as the overall. You have the Pentacle energy coming through here, and it could be about, work, but because it's the Lovers and not the Two of Cups, it changes things here a little bit. So, it could be about money issues, possibly, but I think what's happening here is, like I said, somebody is not willing to give up, how they think and how they feel. They're stuck in a certain way of seeing things. And like I said with the Four of Pentacles before, it's like somebody who is trying to maintain what little bit they have because they don't want to lose what they've worked so hard for. But, with the Five of Wands being there again, it like throws things off. Your best path to follow, the World. Wow, really? Now, when you're doing the horseshoe spread and you see the advice being, a major card, but you're looking at a minor thing as the overall, that's serious. That is serious. To me, it's like immediately getting hit with, this has to be done with before it escalates into something else where it doesn't need to go. So somebody here needs to, give up this idea of, if I let go of control, that things are going to be all over the place, right? Because, if you're in a significant relationship here with the Lovers, right, there's no reason why you can't work things out. And again, this is minor, but with the World being there, it's like this has the potential to escalate into something that it shouldn't. So with the World, you're talking about successful completion, right? This phase in a relationship is over with now, but in a way that opens the door for, good things to happen here. I don't ever see the World as like one of the difficult completions. It's like, okay, we feel like we've accomplished something big here. It's not that a relationship needs to end. It's just the difficulties that are going on with the Five of Wands. Wow. I don't know what it is. Every time I get to your readings, I feel like I can't talk. And it bothers the piss out of me. I remember one time doing a live Cancer reading and like my throat like completely closing off on me. I can't ever talk right with Cancer readings. Give me a second, guys. Okay. Yeah, I'm telling you. I'm fucking telling you. Look at it. There needs to be more understanding when it comes to the communication that is happening for some of you in a relationship. And I am talking to those of you who are in a relationship, and a significant one at that. Somebody is seeing something in a very different way here. And there's like a need for you to like go beyond that here and like come together and start seeing eye to eye before a situation gets out of control. Because, and it's rare to see that. And these two positions are directly connected. Your relationship is more important than petty bullshit. Now, I will say, though, that for some of you, it could be other people that are looking to cause a problem here. Your hopes and your fears, the Ace of Pentacles, which is perfect. It's perfect. And that's where your focus should be. This, to me, one of the things that I point out is sustainability. When you make the most of the Ace of Pentacles, it's going to carry you a long way. And for some of you, hoping for a new beginning, a new realistic, practical beginning that is going to carry you through whatever difficulties you may be facing. And it's good. It's good. Now, and like I said, for some of you, it may be money issues, with the Pentacles showing up here. And there may be some arguments as far as that goes, but then I also feel like, some of you may not be seeing things. You're not on the same page with each other, basically. That, or you're dealing with other people that are just causing nonsense. And then the Two of Wands. It's perfect. It's perfect. So no matter what kind of conflict you may be dealing with as far as your relationship goes, you have a real opportunity here to have a brand new beginning, but this stuff needs to be completely completed out. Now, the reason why I talk about, you possibly having other people that are causing problems is because of jealousy and quest. Now, I do think, though, that somebody needs to give up this idea of being stuck in this position. It's like if you're together on this and you see things the same way, then you both need to jump here. And whatever is going on, whether it's financial or just, arguments within a relationship or people bothering you, with the Seven of Pentacles, you're looking at things differently. When I talk about like reevaluating what you have to show for the efforts that you put through, it's always, for me, with the Seven of Pentacles, it's a question of whether or not you're satisfied with what you have. I don't see this as waiting. You're at a 7 here. You've gotten to that point where you're seeing the initial growth now. You know, you've already done the waiting and the hard work. This is what you have to show. Are you really going to be happy with this? Or is there a need to do things differently? And it's not necessarily a bad thing. Now, with the Ace of Swords, absolute clarity on the situation, communicating the truth here. And maybe for some of you, you both just need to pick yourselves up and like possibly go. Because with the Two of Wands, you know, you're looking at what can we do next here and laying down some different plans, right? And I always love when they show the world in the Two of Wands here, right? You hold your own world in your hands. What are you going to do with it? Maybe now is the time for you to start planning something out. You know, if it's moving, going somewhere else, and again with Quest showing up, but something on a major level needs to be completed here, because I think that, you know, for some of you, you're in a really strong relationship, but if you don't act toward this, I feel like it has the potential to get out of control. And again, you know, with the King of Pentacles, right? Like I worry about people around you that are looking at, you know, what they can gain from you because of the Five of Wands. Or, you know, like I said, we're talking about a relationship here, possibly, you know, with an earth sign who may be concerned about money, especially, you know, within the relationship here. Now, with singles, reconciliation in the moon, this may be something that somebody has been wanting here. The other thing with the moon, though, is like living out fantasies. And if somebody may be fantasizing about getting back together with you, them. But I don't see this as an illusion and deceit one. This one's a little bit different for me, you know, and again, a lot of that is because I've read the little booklet that came with this deck like over and over again over the last year. So, you know, it takes on different meanings depending on what's going on, but I feel more so that this is going to be about you and the other person possibly fantasizing about each other and wanting to get back together. That's what that feels like. Now, as far as very soon in the Eight of Wands is savoring the moment. You know, some of you may want to get things going here, and I look at the ladder in the background and I think, yes, going to the next level, moving on as far as the relationship goes. You look really good. You look really happy. You savor the moments that you have together. But, you know, now is the time for you to think very clearly here about what it is that you want so that it comes to you very soon, right? But it's not bad. And I don't feel bad about the moon here with this. It's not bad, Cancer, but I will say that as far as like, if you are like, say you're living in an area where it makes it difficult on your relationship, there may be a need here for you guys to like pick up and move and make different plans here with the Two of Wands. But like, I think that you're all right coming out of this, but I do think that somebody needs to give up their position. I feel like there's no reason to keep yourself stuck in that kind of like feeling. Because, you know, again, with the world being here, right, it's a major life completion for some of you. And I don't think it's the completion of a relationship at all. But the way things happen needs to be over with for you before it escalates into something more difficult. But like I said, you're making different plans here and it doesn't look bad. All right, Cancer. So now it could just be because I'm feeling like garbage right now that my voice is like failing me, but I don't know. I just think that it's funny that every time that I do Cancer readings, I like fuck up words. I can't talk right. I get like choked up. And it makes sense though with the Five of Wands being the overall on this. Now, as far as this goes, you know, like I said, it's like having people around you that are just causing problems. And I think it's unnecessary. And again, the reason why I say that, though, is because of these two coming out. You know, if you're surrounded by people who are shitty and jealous for what you have, especially in terms of your relationships, then maybe it is time for a different quest. Now, usually, you know, with that one, I feel like For most people, it's about thinking that your life isn't happening right now, but it is. Your power is in the moment. But I think for some of you, it's because of that you want to take a different quest, and I don't blame you. Now, I do think, though, for some of you, we're looking at, difficulties within a relationship. And like I said, for some of you, right, with an earth sign, or the problems are about money and work, which is a possibility here. But the thing is that I rarely get to see the two connected. They're usually in different positions. But yeah, this is for those of you who are in a very significant relationship here. Now, I do think that, if it's arguing between each other, you get to a place where I think there's a little bit more understanding, but that's because either you or your partner here is willing to give up this stuck feeling with the Four of Pentacles, right? There's no point in continuing to be in that kind of space where you feel like, things are not going to change. And it's like, if both of you are going to make that leap, you have to do it together. You have to be together on this. And I think that both of you are looking at your current situation a little bit differently here with the Seven of Pentacles, but there's absolute mental clarity in what you're doing. And then with the Two of Wands, yeah, you're making plans here, but you're clear. You are clear on what you're doing. You're looking at what you have. And it may be one of those things, too, where you're looking at what you have saved right now. And maybe that might be a little bit of an issue when it comes to, like, getting away from difficult situations. But with the Ace of Pentacles being there, I think that that's what you're hoping for in terms of, if you make a big change in your life, seeing, something much better for you that, like I said, is going to be long lasting. Now with the World, like I said, for some of you, it needs to be the major completion here of, a chapter, like, in your relationship. Because it's interesting to me how, the advice here is, like, big compared to what you're looking at as far as the overall, which to me, I feel like immediately was like a warning that you need to make sure that you complete these things out, do it in a way that you feel good about it, that you're not like abandoning things here, and you take that leap of faith into, this Ace of Pentacles that you're hoping for. Interesting. It's an interesting reading, but like I said, the entire time, it's like, what the fuck? I can't even talk. But like I said, with jealousy and quest, like, I don't blame you. I'm not going to say, well, maybe what you're dealing with is unnecessary. But if you feel like you need to take a different path, then by all means, especially if you're looking at the Ace of Pentacles being there. Now, relationships. For those of you who are single, I think, and then you can take this reading in terms of singles though too, but this is an important relationship here. Somebody is looking to reconcile things, and I think that you are too. I think that you've been fantasizing about each other and getting back together, and I really think that that's what that is, and wanting to live out that fantasy, right? Because you see the two couples there, it's not just you, but it's them too, and you're each having like your own fantasies about coming back together. It's interesting. Now, as far as couples go, very soon, and then the Eight of Wands, I love it. I love it. You guys are savoring the moment. Things look really good between you, but there's a need here to, like, clearly decide what you're going to start doing here so that it happens very soon. But it looks great. And even the reading isn't that difficult, except for, the Five of Wands, which, like I said, it has the potential here to escalate into something that it shouldn't. But I think you guys are doing the right thing coming out.